Like we're in for some rain today.
Pretty rare, I'd say, to get a big rain event in this part of the world. So it's looking pretty ominous out in the range there. Not exactly in the direction we're going, but I think it's heading this way. So it doesn't take much rain out here to close these roads. So we'll get to Arkaroola and get an idea of what the locals are saying. We've got time and we're flexible, so yeah, we'll just make a decision based on what the conditions are at the time.
You can smell the rain, and it is so good. It's that nothing beats the smell of fresh rain.
I mean, obviously when we went shopping for the van, we've travelled some of these parts before, so had a bit of an idea what to expect. And I guess when we were looking at what vans to get, some people call them off-road, yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe for some stuff, but I don't know. I like the security of knowing your van's built for what you're going to use it for. Not just an on-road van that they throw some suspension under and lift up a bit higher and then call it off-road.
Stone Stomper's just come off, so we're just going to fix it up. Will you be right to fix this stuff?
I'll get it from you. So the screw's actually sheared off, so they only supply these tech screws, which aren't great for this sort of thing because they're just not designed for it. Like,
yeah,
they just don't have any shear strength. It's just obviously corrugation's fatigue, and it's just going to snap. So
yeah, okay.
I think we'll do away with these, and we'll drill out a bigger hole when I get somewhere. This will do for now as a temporary fix. So I'll put another screw in here, and hopefully that holds till we get to Arkaroola. But then I might drill them out, I think, and replace them with proper bolts with nylock nuts. See, that's why they're no good. I just snapped another one trying to
tighten it.
Yeah, so I think I'll just use I've got some little bolts here that have got little nylock nuts that'll work a lot better. So
Kind of nuts?
Nylock nuts.
What are they?
Oh, they're special.
If I don't know, then no one else knows.
Liz just asked me well, other people do know. Liz just asked me what nylock nuts are. They're a nut that has a small piece of nylon inside of them so they're anti-vibration, so they won't rattle loose, or they're less likely to rattle loose. So they're for use on things that vibrate a lot. Yeah, so I carry a fair few spare bolts and stuff with us just because for this sort of stuff. And I've got a drill. I try not to carry too much because all this sort of gear is heavy. And screws and bolts and things, washers. These are really good, like big flat washers. In case you strip things out, you can use this to pack them out. Different automotive thread bolts, as well as just standard sort of bolts. U-bolts are handy. I carry a lot of hose clamps and things like that. It's always a balance between, carrying everything for every eventuality. You got to be selective at some point. And tools are heavy, So the only power tool I carry is a I was going to say a decent power drill, but it's not even that. It's had its best days already, but yeah, I carry a power drill as the only power tool, and we use it for heaps of things. It's pretty versatile. And then just some basic drill bits. I don't carry an impact driver because this can do everything, whereas an impact driver is a bit more limited. And I like that it's got high speed, low speed, gives you way more torque. You might have seen I use it for the jack as well. I use it for the leg stands on the stabilizer legs on the van. So it's pretty versatile. You put a little wire brush on it like that, clean things up. What else do I carry? Carry a heap of different tapes, heap of different glues, like emergency putty, emergency tape, different lubricants, wheel bearings, wheel grease. Yeah, and a pretty basic toolkit. So I'll just replace this one that that has sheared, and hopefully get us on the road relatively soon.
Simon just said to me, he goes, do you know what I love? I'm like, me? He goes, no, I've got all the right tools to fix this. I chose well. Thanks, mate.
Now where I might come unstuck is I don't know if I'm going to be able to reach down inside.
Do you need little Lizzie fingers?
Yeah, to get this. So I can't reach in there to get the nut inside this tube to the back. So I'm going to put it inside the ring spanner, put a little bit of tape on the back of it so it doesn't fall through, and then I can use the ring spanner to put it in there and hold it while Liz threads it in from this side a bit. But I might just do the first little bit by hand, just so I can feel what I'm doing. Righto, so that works.
Yeah.
No, the next one should be a little bit easier because we can reach it, hopefully, from the end. That's how you do it. Just got to pack all the crap back up now. Getting to Arkaroola, I think we're only about, I think we're less than 50 k's from Arkaroola. I think the last time we saw was 50 k's. So sitting on about 80 for most of it, but you got to slow down. There's a fair few floodways and stuff. So yeah, what's that? 50 k's probably take us 3/4 of an hour.
I'm obviously not very used to driving with a caravan on, but these roads that have just got a little bit of rain on them are very slippy, and they're super slippery. We've got mud all up the side of the van. Simon doesn't want me to film outside because he reckons it'll be...
Well, you hang the camera out the window and we hit a mud puddle, what do you reckon's going to happen? The GoPro's going to get drowned in mud.
It's not rocket science.
Just another awe-inspiring drive. I'll tell you what, if you haven't ever been out to this part of the world, get yourself out here. This is unbelievable. I've always wanted to get to Arkaroola. It's been on my bucket list for a long time. And I didn't know a lot about it, to be honest. I just knew I'd heard enough that I wanted to go there, and this is way more than I expected. The terrain out here, the mountains, the gorges, just the drive in. Like, you could just do the drive in and drive out. Don't sort of think, you hear a lot of people say, oh, there's not much out there, or, just dry and dusty or whatever. You gotta look past that.
And to be fair, I was probably in that boat a couple of years ago when Simon said, oh, I want to go down through the Unadata track and do all that do that area. And I was like, oh, it's going to be days of hot, dusty, boring nothingness, and then we'll get to Uluru. And it was stunning. I was so blown away, and that's why I'm excited now about this part of the country.
So if you know nothing about Arkaroola, the basic premise of it, it's a privately owned wildlife sanctuary. I'm pretty sure it used to be a station of some kind, a livestock station. But yeah, number of years, I think maybe 30 or 40 years ago, it was stopped being run as a station and became a wildlife sanctuary, and obviously a tourist attraction as well. The only camping in Arkaroola itself is at the main sort of camping ground. But then obviously it's on the doorstep of the Gammon Ranges as well. There's a fair bit to do here, depending on what you're into. There's scenic flights and full drive tracks and walking trails and astronomy. Yeah, there's some paid stuff, some free stuff. Like obviously the walks are free, but some of the full drive tracks at least I know they charge for. I think Pete said one of them's $40 to do, and it must take a fair while because they say you got to leave by 11 a.m. So I'm guessing it takes most of the day. I don't think we'll do scenic flights or anything. Our budget doesn't really stretch to that, but that's available if that's what you're into. It would be a really spectacular spot to do it. They fly from here out to Lake Eyre as well and do Lake Eyre flights. So the rain's holding off for now, so I think we should be all sweet with roads if no more comes. We've got phone service here. We've got Telstra service, which we haven't had for 4 or 5 days. So we'll get on and check out the road conditions and the weather and what's coming. I think we're just gonna have a pretty quiet one tonight. Wasn't a long drive today, but I'm feeling pretty buggered, to be honest. It's it takes a lot of concentration off road with the caravan, even just on the gravel roads. You really got to be concentrating and a lot to think about. So I find even just a few hours of driving and I'm pretty well done. Whereas without the van on, I could easily drive most of the day. So camping is 25. We're just in the unpowered section, so 25 a night in the unpowered section. I think the powered's 35 a night. All the facilities here, they're obviously pretty limited on water because there's no water out here. So there is some rainwater, and the rest is bore water. Pretty basic sort of camping, but you can't really expect much more out here. There's never going to be lush lawns or anything like that. It's pretty rocky ground, so not too bad if you're in a van like us. If you're in a ground 10 like Mel and Pete, it's a bit different, but.
Okay, anyway.
Yeah, so we'll have a pretty quiet night here, I think. Just get a fire going, we'll get some dinner on, have a few beers. There's a restaurant here as well. There's a little cafe, I think. There's a bar. It's not a bad little setup. Our first morning at Arkaroola. So we decided to stay 2 nights, so we're going to stay tonight as well. We've got a few things we need to get done. We've got some phone service here, so we're going to use that to get a few things happening. This morning is also Mother's Day, so we thought, why not spend another day in camp instead of hitting the road again? So I just knocked up a little bit of special Mother's Day breakfast for Liz. Say happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Good boy.
Happy Mommy Day.
This is how I ended up becoming a mother, making me pancakes. Thank you, gorgeous. Did you help?
Raspberries and Nutella and yogurt. Let Mummy eat it. You boys have had yours.
Yeah.
Let Mummy enjoy it.
Okay, am I going to eat this by myself and I'll save you some?
In our family, it's pretty much any special occasion, birthdays, Mother's Day, anything like that. Pancakes is the breakfast of the day.
It's Simon's specialty.
I can cook a pretty mean pancake if I do say so myself.
Look at these. If I tried to make these from the exact same thing, they would be not crepes, but somewhere between a crepe and a pancake.
I kind of cheated with these ones. I had the shake and bake, but I often make them from scratch too.
Mel and I are going to do the Acacia Ridge Trail Walk, which is 5.6 k's one way over the ridge line, and the boys are going to look after those little kids in the back while we go and enjoy some peace and quiet out in the great wide open spaces. What's that word? Great wide open. The great outdoors. The great outdoors. Yeah. Mel and I are going to get amongst it. Go enjoy some peace and quiet for Mother's Day. Hills, it's just flat as far as the eye can see. It's like I think my sense of direction is terrible, but I think that's the direction of the Strzelecki Desert. So it's just it's flat. And then If you look behind me, it's just all hills of the Flinders Ranges. It's stunning. I was just saying to Mel just before how impressed I am with their camp setup. They've got a tent, a four-wheel drive vehicle with just the very basics attached to it, and they're out doing a 6-week adventure from Canberra to the Flinders with a 6-month-old baby and just loving life. Like, you don't need a big caravan and all these nice things to be able to get away and go camping. You can do it with just the basics, and sometimes that's very nice. I mean, I'm sure they would rather sleep in our mattress, but you know, yeah, I don't want people to think that you have to have a really nice caravan and a really nice setup to be able to get to these places. You know, we certainly didn't start out like that. Mel and Pete choosing to camp like this because it's their preferred camping style. You just, yeah, do what suits you, your budget, and yeah, get out and enjoy it. It's so stunning just to be here. Yeah, it's beautiful.
The road again today. We're going to head off from Arkaroola. We've had a good little stay here. There are a heap of walks and four-wheel drive tracks you can do around here, which we probably would have done more of, but the campground isn't really that great. It's a bit smelly. There's a diesel generator that runs all night. So we're going to get out of here. We're going to head down to the Gammon Ranges, which is not far from here, only about half an hour down the road. And there's some great camping down there that we've read about, and it sounds like there's some good four-wheel drive tracks we can do down there as well. So that's more what we're after. We're going to head down there. Arkaroola's been great. We've had phone service here, which has been good. We haven't had that for a while. Been able to catch up on some stuff. Got some washing done, showers. It's all been really nice from that point of view. Just not really our scene as far as camping goes. They do have cabins and stuff here as well, which I think is more their focus. But yeah, a really interesting place. The scenery around here is really nice. We love that aspect of it. Just a little bit, I guess, yeah, not for us, but you get that. So yeah, anyway, let's get on the road. Don't let it go. have Mel and Pete with us that aren't towing, is we can send them ahead to do a recce for us, and and let us know if it's worth continuing on. We're a bit slower with the van, especially on these 4-wheel drive tracks. I was just saying to Liz, I'm often left with a rubbish choice with the van of avoiding the roughest parts of the track and avoiding trees and tree branches. So sometimes we have to drive over the bigger potholes and the bigger rocks just to avoid the trees. But 4-wheel driving with a 20-foot van, no one said it was going to be easy, eh? But I'll do it.
And we do have a brand new caravan. It's like when you have a new anything, you just don't want to scratch it, but it's going to get scratched.
I think it already is. I'm pretty sure it's already a little bit scratched, but it's hard to tell when it's all dirty. So we're just coming up to a junction. For those that are interested in which tracks we did, in case you want to have a go, it's a pretty good little 4-wheel drive track. We did the Mount McTaggart track, and now we're turning left onto the Wartupa Loop track, which is towards the Grindell's Hut camping area. Good drive, good fun to get here. We probably picked the hardest campsite to get into, but it's worth it because it's the best one. So we just tucked up at the end here, got our own little spot for a few days. Just probably going to do a bit of relax. Maybe, I don't know, we might walk, we might 4-wheel drive, or we might just not do much. But it's certainly come to the best part of the drive. Not sponsored, but West End, if you're watching, you're welcome to. In fact, if you make any sort of beer, I'm open to sponsorship. That's how generous I am. Settle in a bit, get some lunch on, and then I'll set the van up, get it unhooked from the car, and see what the afternoon brings. I'm going to try and make this damper. I haven't done a damper in quite some time. So, I don't know, anything could happen. So I've got the camp oven. I just sprayed a bit of oil in there just in case it overflows, what do you call it, like, not boils over. In case it comes out too far and it touches the bottom, just save it sticking to the bottom. Then I've got a little trivet, so just keep it off the bottom so it doesn't burn to the bottom. Wrap the trivet in a bit of baking paper just so it doesn't stick to that, and then I'll just spray the baking paper. Basically trying to keep it off the bottom and trying to stop it from sticking to things. Hey? Simple as that. Been in for 20 minutes. About halfway through I just threw some coals on the top just to make sure the top cooked as well. We'll just give it I'll just scrape that off. We'll just have a bit of a look. See how it's looking.
Sit down.
Oh, how's that for a reveal? It's looking. bit doughy. There you go. There you go, take that bit. Eat it.
How does it taste?
Cupcake.
It tastes like a cupcake.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big goal. It's come out a bit doughy, but doughy dampers are up. It's the closest thing we've had to bread for a while.
Look at this big one I found.
Pete's going to stick the doughy part of the damper on a stick and and then stick that stick in the fire and cook it like a marshmallow. So that's Pete's solution.
Thanks for watching. Join us next week as Liz and Mel make a navigation error while going for a hike. We leave the mountains behind and head for the desert. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it, and we'll see you next Sunday.
Lost a screw.
You're a screw loose style. That's possibly the best joke.
Start trying to make jokes.
So proud of you for not swearing.
Yeah. It's hard. Maybe we should keep the camera on all the time.